Chapter 3. Being prepared. Polite, on time, and presentable. These 3 points don't waver in any job. They are the basis for the agreement you make with your employer when they hire you. In this type of work, a successful business depends on an employee being able to, at the very least, show up with a good attitude, at the time the company needs them, dressed in clean, proper clothing. If you want to be able to do your job well, these are 3 of the most basic commitments you need to remember to follow. Polite. My mother used to tell my brother and I, it doesn't cost you anything to be polite. I'm consistently surprised that politeness is the key ingredient missing from most service interactions. Think about your daily experiences at the grocery store, the bank, the deli, the convenience store, the school office, the gas station. The list goes on. See if the counter person engages you first. If they say hello or hi and make eye contact with you. In the last couple of weeks alone, I've had these situations occur. A cashier at the local gas station who didn't even make eye contact with me just said, "What pump?" Took my money, end of transaction. A cashier at our local grocery store who faked a smile, rang up our groceries, told me, not asked, "Punch in your rewards number," and barely managed an unenthusiastic, "Bye." A cashier at a local coffee spot who, when I said, "Good morning, how are you?" answered, "Tired. What are you having?" They took my order, flipped the iPad around on the swivel, showing me the tip page with the 20%, 25%, 30%, and nodded to no one in particular after I swiped my card. Then they moved over to the machine, made my coffee, yelled over the machine at a coworker, and then called out my name to the room like there were 20 people in the place. There were 4, and pushed my coffee off onto a waiting table, neither making eye contact with me nor mustering a goodbye. Maybe you're thinking, dude, you should move out of your neighborhood. But interactions like this are common everywhere. The definition of polite that I heard growing up was something like this: having or showing behavior that was respectful and considerate of other people. Hospitality and food service is not, "I'll stay in my lane, you stay in yours," or "I'm being considerate of you by minding my own business." Hospitality is different. In hospitality, politeness requires action. It requires us to reach out to our guests first, not wait for them to come to us. We give that respect to our guests by being proactive and showing them consideration. We don't wait for them to earn our respect. We automatically give it to them. That's the deal. Regardless of who they are, what they look like, or the type of day they're having, we give our customers and guests respect because they have chosen to come into our business and do business with us. They chose us today over our competition. So they earn that respect just by walking through our door, and our job is to give that to them. We show respect by turning our attention to them, engaging with them as soon as we see them enter our business. Make eye contact with them and be present. A nod of the head, a smile at least. We show politeness and respect in many other ways as well. We choose to think of them as a guest instead of a customer. This puts us in a mode of extra care. We give them our attention with a smile when they walk into our store or approach us. We smile at our guests when they're within 10 feet of us or say hi and verbally acknowledge them when they're within 5 feet of us. We thank our guests when they purchase something from us, and we wish them to have a good day. This is the job. This job isn't sit here all day, don't make eye contact, don't say hi, ring them up, take a payment, and look as bored as possible. That isn't what people are here for. If that's the role you're looking for, there are plenty of options outside of hospitality, food, and beverage. Engaging with a guest in a polite way isn't extra. It's not a favor. These actions of politeness are not outside the customer service job description. They are customer service. If you can connect with the customer in a friendly way that ensures they have a good enough moment that they choose to come back to the business, then that's a win. That's it. So who cares if it's a restaurant, cafe, grocery store, or Bob's Boring Service Center? Politeness is a 2 to 5 second adjustment that can happen anywhere. An instant contrast with the miserable interactions that already happen at other counters. The good news is, in food and beverage, this is what we call hospitality. And we've been doing this type of great service for years. This is the tradition in our counter service culture. We engage, we ask questions, we provide service with a smile. When we don't do this, we give people a reason to walk down the street and spend their money in a different coffee shop, cafe, or restaurant. Customers routinely come back to companies that have good service, polite service, even if their product is a little more expensive than a similar company that has horrible service. Service matters. Politeness matters. And it doesn't cost you anything. Time. One of the elements that comes up a lot in hospitality is the concept of time. There are many expectations that involve time, your responsibilities to the company you work for, and the company's commitment to its guests. Before I worked in restaurants, I had a pretty laxed view of time. When I worked for my dad, I realized he didn't mind if I was a couple of minutes late. That was not the case when I started working for non-family members at Mary's Pizza Shack and the Swiss. These people knew how to run a restaurant. They had been doing it for a long time, and when I showed up late, I heard about it, loud and clear. There was no tolerance for being late. This is the commitment and contract you make when you're hired. It doesn't matter if it's a well-known coffee chain or your friend's parents' deli. You show up, ready to work at the start of your scheduled shift. There will be moments when you're late for valid reasons, but they should be very rare. And let me be clear. This doesn't mean that you run into work, the back of the restaurant, and clock in as the clock hits 5 o'clock, and then you take your time getting ready for your shift, use the restroom, spruce up your hair, arrive behind the counter around 5:09. It doesn't work like that. Don't be the person who's always late. It's not cool. Even if coworkers say they don't mind, they do. Respect their time by honoring yours.